Into the fast lane we go now with some track and field here on the SportsMax Zone. Fans will get a chance to see possibly a bit of a peek at what this summer's women's 100-meter final at the Tokyo Olympics might look like come this Sunday at the Diamond League meet in Gateshead, England. Although double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson of Jamaica has withdrawn from the meet, reportedly due to injury, the field will still be stacked with quality. These are the three women commanding most attention ahead of Sunday's event. The two-time Olympic champion Fraser-Pryce, 2021's fastest woman so far, Sha'Carri Richardson, and the world 200-meter champion at the moment, Dina Asher-Smith. The two-time World Championship medalist, Marie-Josée Tallou of the Ivory Coast, will also be in the lineup. Now, ahead of the race, the red-hot Richardson has cautioned talks about her readiness to challenge the 33-year-old world record held by fellow American Florence Griffith Joyner at 10.49 seconds. This is what Richardson said. "Flojo is my idol. She brought a different mindset to the game. The world record will take a different level of training and mindset. That goal is definitely part of the journey, but I know I have to be patient." Richardson also commented on being the world's fastest woman at the moment. She said, "Being the fastest woman in the world right now gives me confidence, but it also makes me aware that I have a target on my back. I can't let my mind get too comfortable." There is unlikely to be any major records with cold, rainy conditions in the forecast for Sunday's event, but the stadium record of 10.93 seconds is, we think, under watch. Joining us to look ahead to this big clash, senior writer at SportsMax.tv, the Liverpool man, Leighton Levy. Leighton, how disappointing, let me start here, is it that Elaine Thompson has withdrawn from the meet? Because she certainly would have added to the crack field.
Yeah, it's disappointing, I think. But I think the bigger picture is what our handlers are looking at. The Olympics are just a few weeks away, about 9 weeks away. So they can't afford to risk further injury, if indeed injury is the cause of her not getting into Gateshead this weekend. So it's disappointing, yes, but I think her people are looking at the bigger picture here. And of course, she says she wants to defend both the 100 and 200 meter titles in Tokyo. And that remains their primary focus.
Yeah, we'll look specifically at the race in just a moment, but Elaine Thompson is booked to run in Doha in a couple of days from now. What's the likelihood of her competing there, if it, depending on the nature of the injury? Or do you suspect that, it could be a strategic move to not have her in this race?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see what happens in Doha, because if she's out for this meet, Doha is 5 days later. I don't think any injury she would have been suffering would have been, there would have been enough time for her to recover in 5 days. So I suspect that she might also be out of Doha. We have not heard anything definitive from her people, which is not unusual. So I guess we just have to wait and see. There's a lot of unknowns when it comes to, what the circumstances are, why she's not in Gateshead this weekend, and why perhaps she won't be in Doha in 5 days.
Yeah, well, it's widely accepted, Leighton, that Sha'Carri Richardson is the favorite for Sunday's race. But as a Caribbean station, can we have a quick look at Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and what she may offer here? She hasn't been fully exposed for the season yet, based on her training and so on. What are you expecting from her? Now, how fit do you think she is for this one?
I'm not expecting much, to be honest. The last time Shelly raced was a month ago, April 17th, I think, when she ran 22.66 over 200 meters at the National Stadium. She hasn't run 100 meters so far this season. So I think this race will be one where she probably works on a couple of phases of her race and maybe gets a chance to test the environment in terms of where the speed is right now with Sha'Carri Richardson, of course, the likes of Dina Asher-Smith. I honestly think, as much as the matchup on paper looks fantastic, I believe it's going to be perhaps anticlimactic, primarily because of relative race rust on the part of Dina Asher-Smith and, of course, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who has not run frequently so far this season. You'll get the sense that she's putting in some extra work to get her speed endurance up, because she says she wants to do the double in Tokyo. So I think that's probably part of the reason why she hasn't raced as much this season. So this 100 will be her first for the year. And it's going to be touch and go, depending on what her plans are for the 100.
Let's talk about the favorite, because the favorite deserves to be talked about. She's catching birds when she runs. She's moving so fast. This Sha'Carri Richardson, but before we even touch her, Leighton, the fact of no American woman winning an Olympic 100 meters gold medal for 25 years, is that correct, my friend?
Yeah, just about. I mean, when you look at the, trying to remember the last time, it would be probably Marion Jones at the 2000 games, wasn't it? You know, it's been Shelley Fraser-Pryce, it's been Elaine Thompson the last year.
No, hold on, Leighton. We know you went to Knox College and CAST, two eminent institutions, but that math wouldn't be right. 2000 to now to 21 years. Remember, yeah. Marion's standard was lowered because of drugs, so it would have been the cycle before that.
Yep.
That
would be 96. Yeah.
Here you go. Atlanta.
Yep.
Gail Levers.
Gail Levers. Yeah, when she beat Merle Naughty to the line. And the thing is, you know, Americans, and it's one of the reasons why Sho'Carri is such a big deal in the United States right now. The rest of the world has taken the mantle in the sprints for the last couple of decades. Of course, Usain Bolt being a major factor in that. The Americans have struggled. The last time they won something significant would be 2005. No, Justin Gatlin Tyson Gay in 2007 in Osaka. They haven't won anything since that time primarily because of Usain Bolt. So this emergence of Sha'Carri Richardson right now is a major deal, because with the absence of someone like Chris Coleman, Trayvon Bromwell is perhaps the favorite, but he's not guaranteed a victory, because you have people like Akini Sambini and a couple of South Africans who are running just as fast this year. So it's not a guarantee that an American will win the male 100 meters for the first time since 2017, and of course before that for many years. But also Sha'Carri Richardson presents probably the biggest opportunity for American females to win a global 100 meter medal in 2 decades. And so it's significant for her. That pressure is on her to deliver. And of course, because she's been running fast early, she's a big deal, because it now gives the Americans a lot of hope that she'll be able to dethrone and Elaine Thompson, Adina Asher-Smith, and of course, Shelley Fraser-Pryce.
Leighton, the last time we spoke about her, and based on what you said about, you know, the space between her ears, I had cause to go and really dig into her background, and I'm shocked by what I found, because it explains so much of what we see from her. We're seeing from her a kind of personality that only an American can have, you know, very out there and very overt. But she was abandoned by her mother. She attempted suicide. She had a really tough upbringing, and you can see in where she is now that she will mute her voice for nobody. She will dim her lights for nobody. She's going to have an overt personality, do or die, and that is a large part of the motivation for why she is how she is now, and she'll never change.
I don't think she will, George, because, and you rightly said that, she has been hardened by circumstances. So the occasion of a race that lasts just over 11, just under 11 seconds is not going to intimidate this young woman. You know, I think she has a support group going for people who are considering suicide. She has that on her social media pages as well. She's a tough cookie, and of course she's unapologetic, sometimes to her detriment. But I think what we see from her is a hardened exterior which will protect her in circumstances where she's going up against the world's best.
I saw an excerpt of a Zoom call that she was on with some British reporters, and one of them asked her to comment on the fact of Shelley and Fraser-Pryce still being at the top level despite being a mom. And she said, she looked into the camera and said, "No, I'm not answering that. Don't you have any questions for me? I'm not talking about anybody else. You came here to interview me."
Yep. And that's what she is. As I said to you before when we first spoke about her, she's absolutely irreverent. She doesn't care about anybody else except what she's doing and what she's preparing to do. And she's preparing to create history.
Yep. Another time I'll ask you about the Dennis Mitchell link and the Justin Gatlin, Dennis Mitchell, and Dennis Mitchell himself. Remember those 5 beers and 4 rounds of sex?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's in context, people. It's in context. Yep. All right. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, the green machine.
There you go. One of my favorite athletes, just to see him on the track. Yeah. There you go. We'll talk about that another time. Thank you very much, Leighton.
Take it easy, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Of course, big meet coming up this weekend with the Olympic Destiny Series at National Stadium. A lot of big names are lined up there. So I think people should pay attention to what's happening.
For a moment there, I thought you were going to say something about Liverpool. God bless you. All the best.
We're getting those points Sunday, George. We're getting those points on Sunday.
We're heading to the break now with the Olympic corner.
In today's Olympic Corner update, the IOC and Tokyo 2020 organizers have insisted the Games will go ahead despite the widespread of public opposition in Japan and warnings from health experts. Japanese doctors and medical workers have called for the Games to be cancelled in order to relieve pressure on overwhelmed health services, while a recent poll found that 83% of the public want the event to be either called off or postponed for a second time. Seiko Hashimoto, the president of Tokyo 2020, says up to 230 doctors and 310 nurses would be needed each day during the Olympics. Preparations for Tokyo 2020 have been hit by disruptions to the torch relay, while on Friday, the Canadian swimming team became the latest delegation to pull out of a pre-Olympic training camp over coronavirus fears. Plans for about 50 training camps have been scrapped, and dozens of Japanese towns have abandoned plans to host athletes. The Summer Olympics are set to go underway on July 23. That's it for today's Olympic Corner. Remember to watch the SportsMax Zone for your daily Olympic updates.